Hey all, this is Neo once again from the Overclocker magazine. As you can tell, I'm here to talk to you about Wootware's latest offering in the WootBook series, namely the Core Fire 16. Yes, it doesn't roll off the tongue, but true to the history of this series, it provides unmatched value for money. The price of this notebook can and will vary depending on the configuration, storage amount, and memory that you go for. But for 1 TB configuration and 32 GB of memory, you're looking at 41,000 Rand if you include the extended 3-year warranty, which I recommend you take. It can be, however, as low as 37,000 if you go for the base spec and a single-year warranty. For this, the WootBook offers a solid construction and an understated design. From the outside, this could be a modern office machine. This isn't unique to this model and has been pretty much the design language for the WootBook since inception, part of what makes them appealing to a wide demographic. Okay, so this is a high-end notebook, of course, and as such, it weighs a healthy 2.3 kilograms or just over. On the heavier side of things these days, even though in practice, I doubt it'd be an issue for anyone looking to use this. And I'd even say its profile hides the weight very well, and it looks lighter than it actually is. Design-wise, it's a good-looking unit, and I'm partial to this look, I have to say. Powering the Core 16 Fire is AMD's Ryzen 9 9955HX, a 16-core CPU paired with NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 5070 Ti mobile GPU. This combination of hardware alone guarantees some of the best performance money can buy for a mobile platform. That isn't to say that that's all there is to the Core Fire 16. The screen is one such area where I believe this model stands out. While I can't tell you objectively what the color reproduction is in terms of numbers, I did find it very rich, sharp, and exceptionally responsive. Perhaps due to it being a 2560 by 1600 300Hz IPS display. Webcam-wise, not much has changed from the previous units I reviewed. It could be said that it can do with some improvement, especially where grain and low light compensation is concerned. Fortunately, you can use NVIDIA Broadcast to use AI and try and clean up the video. However, I'd still recommend getting a third-party webcam if you're going to be using the video features very often. Believe it or not, the camera remains the low point of this unit, perhaps more so than the speaker system, which, simply put, it just isn't loud enough. The quality is not the issue, it's just not loud enough. Either way, the trackpad, on the other hand, on the Core Fire 16 is excellent. It's large, responsive, and sensitive as well, making it an absolute pleasure to work with. I only wish the keyboard was as outstanding. However, as is, it's more than adequate. It's a membrane keyboard, but it does have a satisfying, albeit shallow click that helps with typing or registering key presses in games. It's fully backlit as well, and you can have all manner of colors and effects that you'd come to expect from any RGB-enabled device these days. I must say, I'm not sure why, but for some reason, the default setting for the keyboard was with the backlighting off, and I actually had to turn it on manually. Connectivity-wise, you're looking at standard outputs for a modern notebook. So that's to say, at the rear of the notebook, you'll find an HDMI 2.1 output, a mini DisplayPort 2.1 port, a DC in jack for the power supply, of course, and a 10 gigabit USB Type-C port. On the right side of the notebook are two USB 5 gigabits per second ports, and on the left side is a single USB Type-A 5 gigabit per second port, an audio combo jack, and the second 10 gigabit per second Type-C port. So it's been a thing with these notebooks that they are user upgradable, at least where memory and storage is concerned. The Core Fire 16 is no exception to this, and in fact, it's never been easier to change or upgrade the system components that you have within. For instance, you simply remove the screws beneath the notebook, pop open the lid, and everything is laid out for you in a neat and convenient way. The memory module location is highlighted, and the two places where you can install your M.2 storage are easy to locate on either side of the motherboard. You can literally change out these parts in a matter of minutes, and the best part about it is that you don't void your warranty by doing such. You could easily add more storage, more or faster memory in future without having to ship it to Wootware to do it for you. Most of the things you need to configure on this notebook are done in the control panel. Here, you'll find everything from changing the backlight, operating modes, overclocking the GPU, or configuring power and thermal limits for the CPU. With that said, let's take a look at a few benchmarks of the WootBook Core Fire 16. I ran the synthetic test in both balanced and turbo mode. The GPU OC meant adding 250 MHz to the GPU core and 1000 MHz to the GPU memory clock. But safe to say, the GPU memory OC doesn't stick and will be adjusted in real time according to the GPU load, power draw, thermals, etc. Either way, the performance here in 3D Mark Speedway, TimeSpy Extreme, and Steel Nomad is solid, placing the Core Fire 16 graphics performance between a desktop 5060 Ti and a 5070. manual overclocking adds just 4 to 5% to performance. In Unigen Superposition 4K optimized, we pretty much get what we expected. The difference between balanced mode and the turbo mode is just 2%, overclocking adding another 3% to that. In the gaming tests, I use both 1080p and the native 1600p. At 1080p, you will get small black bars at the top and bottom of your display, but this isn't noticeable at all. Or you can switch to 1200p if you prefer not to have these and match the display's 16:10 native aspect ratio. Forza Horizon 5 plays very well on the Core Fire 16 regardless of the resolution, and I'm impressed in particular by the 1080p results, which matches or manages to come close to the desktop 5070 offering in the same game. I'd not bother with running in turbo mode here. In Cyberpunk 2077, with no upscaling enabled and the medium RT preset, it looks like you'll need turbo mode to get to the 60 FPS range, at 1600p at least. However, I would strongly recommend using DLSS here and 2x frame generation, which allows you to use path tracing. I was able to get a solid 101 frames per second in path tracing enabled at 1080p. For my final gaming benchmark, I have Marvel Spider-Man 2 using the very high preset and RT settings. Without any upscaling, I'd say 1080p is all you'll be able to do. Yes, you can use frame generation, which boosts the frame rate dramatically, but as I said with Cyberpunk, I found that the best way to play here is using DLSS quality mode, which instantly allows the notebook to play at 1600p above 60 FPS. With the performance figures out the way, it's very clear that this is a very solid and capable gaming machine. Sure, it doesn't have a 5080 or 5090, but at this price, this is the most GPU grunt you can buy, and it's not going to get any better than this, at least locally thus far. The ability to use DLSS and frame generation along with 12 GB of GPU memory means this notebook is able to last you many more years playing cutting-edge titles, especially if you're willing to drop down to 1200p or 1080p, which I recommend you do for a number of reasons. The latest entry into the WootBook range further solidifies my belief in that these are the best bang for buck gaming notebooks you can buy in South Africa, period. No other brand is capable of providing this much performance at this price. Yes, it is missing some creature comforts, but what it lacks there, it makes up for in performance, in pricing, and in general looks as well. Alright then, until the next time, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Take great care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys on the flip side, and peace.